I think it's the commander, Reyes, who was assassinated, was the interlocutor, the principal negotiator. I think he confided in the fact that he had the backing of Sarkozy, the Swiss, and the Spanish, that somehow this gave him immunity. Forgetting that the death squad president in Colombia, Mr. Uribe, is backed by the United States completely, unconditionally, and that in that context, for the United States and Colombia, they're not interested in recognizing the FARC and permitting its role as a negotiator in bringing about the mutual release of prisoners. So, in that sense, Uribe thumbed his nose at the Europeans, thumbed his nose at the other countries in Latin America, and went ahead with the military assault, even violating Ecuadorian sovereignty. Now, this provocation, this violation of sovereignty, this destruction of the release of prisoners of the FARC could only take place because Uribe could count on U.S. imperialism to back whatever was necessary to undermine these any kind of serious peace negotiations.
But it is also leaders which some view as progressive, such as Chavez, who turned their backs to FARC.
Well, the point of the matter is that President Chavez himself experienced a military coup in 2002, backed by the United States. Now, he was restored to power because millions of people came down from the poor neighborhoods, and one section of the army supported him. But in Colombia, you don't have the conditions that President Chavez has had, even though there's been violence against Chavez by U.S.-backed opposition and wealthy multinationals. The fact of the matter is Chavez is talking from a political context very different from that which the FARC is living in Colombia. You cannot compare the two in that sense. It's like comparing Slovenia to Albania or Kosovo, where you have gangsters running the country. It's not the same thing. I think Europeans forget what it's like to live in a country which is run by a president named as a collaborator of the cocaine cartels, as he was named. Uribe was named in the Drug Enforcement Agency documents of the United States government several years back. So these are different circumstances, and I think the other factor we have to take into account, it's one thing to be a political movement, it's another thing to be a government. And governments have to deal with other governments, and at times they do so at sacrificing some of their principles in order to maintain their international position. That may not look nice from our ethical point of view, but it's a fact of life, that state interest. Now, what is Chavez's state interest is he does not want to have a conflict with Colombia, which has an army of 200,000 troops plus 50,000 irregulars, police, etc., compared to his 75,000. Colombia has a $6 billion military aid program from the United States. Chavez purchased 100,000 rifles and machine guns from Russia. So Chavez has to be very careful, and I think is putting distance to the methods of the FARC, not denouncing their program, is part of realpolitik.
Of course. But Mr. Petras, about the drugs, there's a lot of substantial facts and proof that Uribe and also his father and his family has been involved closely with the cocaine cartels. But there are also many allegations that FARC is also profiting from cocaine production and transport to Venezuela. Also, there was talk about this computer laptop found a few weeks ago. Are these just Uribe's and his cliques?
Let's be very blunt. The FARC collects a tax between the peasants who sell the coca leaf, which is not addictive, to the drug traffickers who process the leaf. Between the peasants and the drug traffickers, the FARC collects a tax. You might call it a sales tax on the coca leaf. So this is one of the ways they finance themselves and also retain political independence. As you know, the communist parties that used to receive aid from the Soviet Union many times sacrificed their independence to support Moscow's foreign policy. In the case of the FARC, it does not take any position except what it sees as important in Colombia, and it maintains its independence largely because it is self-financing. Also, we have to remember that the FARC guerrillas, about 70% of them come from the countryside. I would say 70% at least. So they have family ties, extended family, neighborhood, regional ties, and much of their food is either purchased or secured from these networks that they have had over many, many years. This is not just a political movement. It's a kind of class movement. It's a family-based rural movement. And as you know from the anti-fascist struggle in Yugoslavia, that when you have a guerrilla movement with a major popular base, it's possible to sustain, at least partially sustain the movement on that basis.